we've all got different opinions, and you're always quick to say on this show, and I've quoted you many times when I'm talking to my other quote unquote wrestling friends, because I think it's genius when you say creative is subjective. I really believe that. You've got that beat into me now. I'm for it. From my subjective opinion,
Yep.
I thought the Double J character sucked a dick.
Okay.
Hated it. Channel changer for me.
From day one?
From day one, I hated
Okay.
it. And when I heard your theme song and I saw you clip clopping out there with your neon shit, I said, nope. Just flipped it over to Nitro. Now, as an adult who has had a chance to really appreciate and understand more about wrestling through my little journey through podcasting, I've learned a lot of stuff about, well, here's why we do that. And I can say, okay, let me go back and watch it. And so as I've watched stuff in the last, we'll call it 10 years, I can appreciate more a guy like Bobby Eaton or a guy like Tully Blanchard or a guy like Arn Anderson, guys who most every hardcore fan knows is one of the best, blah, 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 but it's the little stuff. I never even gave any of your stuff a chance because I didn't like the gimmick, and I just changed the channel. And I'm curious from your perspective, what did you think of the gimmick? Because you're the king of creative is subjective.
So, as Conrad would say, back in the archives, we cover this in depth.
Yes.
But for the new generation era that had all kinds of characters, you name it, I thought the character in a good way was detestable. There was nothing there was, he was, man, I hate to say it, God, he can wrestle. I remember Pat Patterson laying out the matches, me and Scott Hall, and like, hey, Scott, let him out wrestle you a little bit. And Scott going, yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to nail him with a punch. But, and I say this, that, yeah, okay, the outfit, it's different. And you called it, or Eric called it, and you went along, and then the Dick Dancer outfit, and then the flashing lights, and then
Venetian blinds is my favorite way to describe it.
There you go. But from the outfit to my Southern twang to the spelling of the name, it's one thing to have the Southern twang, but it's another to kind of throw that in your face and spell out your own name. I think that's, you know, when you think of Vince, and not just with the Double J character, but multiple things, how he could, you know, we talked offline about, you know, and I said 3 types of people in this business as far as creatives. There's bookers or matchmakers, there's writers, and I'm not just saying script writers, but there's kind of people that write copy, and then there's promoters. But to promote the Double J character, I thought it checked all the boxes.
Yes.
In a good way, because he's going to deliver a good match. He can talk, he can work, and there's enough meat on the bone that I think you could fill in the blank with multiple people that are on TV every week right now. And Conrad, I want you to hear me out, and I don't want you to say any names unless you want to, and maybe you go back in history. But if you ask yourself, who is, why is a Double J? I think you can answer all that. I think there's people on TV every week now is you go, what's his character? What's he about? No character development. I thought the character, because that was your question, what did you think of the character of Double J? I thought it checked every box.
Well, let me explain. Now, what we're looking at here, if you're watching over on YouTube, that's from your first run. So I guess what I'm getting at is, and I appreciate what you said about a lot of guys today don't really have defined characters. Just about a month, maybe 2 months after you reemerge as Double J here in March of '98, we start to see vignettes for some new characters like Val Venus, the porn star, and for Edge. And the vignettes for Edge were great, but like, to your point, we know that you're an arrogant asshole, self-centered, quote unquote, performer that we've never actually seen perform musically. And we know that Val Venus, he's not a country music singer. He's an adult film star.
Adult film star, yeah.
But what was Edge? He's just like an angry dude beating up people on a subway with leather pants. So like, we don't really know. So I understand and I appreciate where you're going, but I also wonder, because even when you started to describe the character, you're talking about in that new generation era where we had, you know, Duke the Dumpster Drosy and all these other guys. But now we're in the attitude era, even though we're probably not calling it that yet. We're pushing the limits of things that
we've definitely shifted gears creatively.
And now you're going back to that. And I just feel like I could see how you might think at the time, this is a step backwards. I cut a promo on how stupid this was when I came back.
Yeah.
My first promo here is telling everybody I'm the real Jeff Jarrett and I'm not putting on that junk and I'm not playing the games in Atlanta and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward a handful of months. Here you are doing what you made fun of.
Yep.
It feels like a step back. And I know that you are a self-confessed delusional optimist. Did you find out you're doing that when you show up at TV that day and Colonel Robert Parker's there and they're like, hey, we got this horse for you and here's your light up shit? Is that it?
It was NWA bring your Double J in between the weeks of creative, because I had to bring the different outfit, bring your old Double J stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go get that. Yeah. Okay. I got that. What about the jacket? What about the light up? I think we're bringing the light up stuff. Do you have anything, your old stuff? I'm like, well, I got to go get it. Yeah. Conrad, without question, I felt we'll call it the Indian Aztec look.
Mm-hmm. The NWA look.
The NWA look. I thought, okay, this is what they want though, because creative services, I mean, that was, it came from the top. That's why I appreciate the little quick history lesson. So Cornette and Bruce, they were really doing creative during this time, you know, and obviously answered events, but obviously this is what creative wants. We went into the kind of that look. And then when we took a hard left and we, took a step back or went back to the Double J character, I said, hey, delusional optimist, I'm going to do the very best I can with it. I did think the addition of Tennessee Lee had a new twist, and I didn't say it back 20-something years ago, but I felt it. We are the like you said, the Attitude Era wasn't named, but it was really an anti-attitude type character. There was over the top, glitz, glamour, you know, Stone Cold and even, you know, Brett. There wasn't the flamboyancy. Just that wasn't what it was about. And, you know, Sean and others that you know, as the characters got debuted, but we were the anti-Attitude Era type heels.